my fellow 90s lovers and coaster junkies, and welcome back to Luno, your weekly Universal news and updates. If you are new here, I make videos on all of the weekly changes that I can find in the dry parks of Universal Orlando. And with last weekend marking last week of October and Halloween, loads has happened, so don't miss out. But anyways, let's stop stretching this intro out and get into our first topic. Halloween Horror Nights. So, as I said in the intro, this week is marking the end of the spooky season, but Uni wanted to go out with a blast. It seems that this weekend someone must have said his name 3 times because the Beetlejuice house came. It only came for this weekend and will most likely not be making a return until next year, however. But the theme park community was speculating this for almost the entire week before the house opened. However, the only actual pieces of evidence that we had of the house happening was that people were able to take drone shots of the print on the side of the soundstage building. This would later end up being the entrance to the house. The other thing that we found this week was that scare actors who were assigned to be working in the Beetlejuice house before the event was canceled were made to sign further paperwork, showing the community that the house would in fact be happening. When the house actually opened, pretty much everything you would expect happened. The house had huge lines, and all of the virtual spaces were taken almost instantly. A lot of people did not get in and did not hesitate to take out their frustration on Universal. But nonetheless, the house opened up in Kids Zone, using the Barney the Dinosaur area as a part of its queue. Right outside the entrance of the house, some signs that had QR codes that linked to the backstory for Beetlejuice also appeared. However, if you are a dedicated enough fan to wake up at 5 to 6 in the morning to go experience the Beetlejuice house, I think you'd know it already. Also, when you walk out of the house, they stationed cast members at the exit that request you to take a survey about your experience. These people also stood outside of the other houses that Uni had opened, and they serve the purpose of gathering info so that they can improve the house. When this house came, it also impacted the official Universal Orlando app. It appeared on the map as the 3rd haunted house, and when the icon for it was clicked on, it showed a blurb that read, "Enter the world of the original film, more twisted and terrifying than ever, wandering checkered hallways and through the model graveyard as the infamous bile exorcist Beetlejuice haunts you at every turn. It's showtime!" So, what were the actual thoughts on the house? Well, disappointingly, we can't make our own opinions on how it looked, as the house did impose a recording ban. This could be a good thing, though, as it increases the chance that we will be seeing the house coming back next year for Halloween Horror Nights 30 in 2021. But the people that we can look into for their opinions are the guests who actually went through the house. They stated that the house was overall amazing with great costumes, voice lines, scares, and sets. They also said that the house really makes you feel like you are stepping into the movie, which is exactly what Universal was going for. So good job to them. For our next change in Halloween Horror Nights, we can look at something that was almost confirmed for HHN 30 of 2021. A behind the scenes of HHN was posted on Universal's YouTube this week, and it gave us an announcement. This video showed us a sneak peek of the Puppet Theater Captive Audience House that will be coming next year. It did not show as much of the house either than a few of the scare actors and a few of the scares, but this is definitely interesting. Lastly, for the spooky season is actually the end of it. As Halloween has now passed, it's time for all of HHN Lite to go. This was shown as this weekend marked the last days of the Scarecrow Stalk, Tribute Store, the Brides and Tooth Fairy houses, and the first and last days of the Beetlejuice house. No one wants to see them go, but it has to happen at one point or another. Okay, I'd hate to stay on a sad note for too long, which is exactly why I have chosen this as our next topic. The holidays! boys, the season of cheer and joy is now here, and I can say you'll be full of both when you hear this news. This week, Universal has announced their Christmas celebration dates, along with some other things. They have said that festivities are to start on November the 14th and will continue all the way until January the 3rd. They did not announce many of the specifics, such as if the Macy's parade will be happening or not, but they did give us a few statements about the Wizarding World. They state about Diagon Alley that it has been transformed with festive decor and brilliant lighting. There are special holiday treats and drinks, the atmosphere is brimming with excitement, and Celestina Warbeck and the Banshees have a special show prepared just for the occasion. And about Hogsmeade, they say, it embraces the holiday spirit as the shops are festively decorated with garland and lights. The frog choir sings seasonal melodies, and there are special treats and drinks to share. As the stars begin to shine, revel in a dazzling projection of the holiday spirit as the magic of Christmas at Hogwarts Castle unfolds. These blurbs make this event sound amazing, but all that they have really told us is that Hogwarts Light Show will be happening this year, and that there are going to be decorations and treats. Speaking of the decor, some of it has actually been placed this week. In Hogsmeade, garland has shown up, covering nearly every ledge in the place. And in Diagon Alley, garland and wreaths have appeared hanging from glass ceilings and that cover the magical area. Also new this week is themed Christmas trees. One has appeared in the major gift shop of each island in the Islands of Adventure. This led to the trees being themed to the Grinch, the Ocean, Jurassic Park, Betty Boop, and the Avengers. The only island that was left out is Hogsmeade, unless you count Port of Entry as an island. But they do technically have trees in the Christmas shop. So that is actually it for my Christmas changes. So without further ado, let's look at our next topic. General news, how we got me some general news. In case you can't tell, the topic is general news. And I think that this week is potentially the most updates I've ever had in this topic. So this week, Uni added some barriers to help keep people safe from the virus. They were placed in between the boarding groups in the stations of rides. The rides that these were added to were Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts, Men in Black, Alien Attack, and the Flight of the Hippogriff. This week, a lot of filming also happened in the parks. An episode of David Makes Man was filmed in San Francisco, barricading a large area of it off and turning it into a hot set. Later in the week, another hot set was set up in Hollywood. However, the production that this one is for is unknown. This week, Uni reintroduced paper maps to both of the parks, making them available just past the turnstiles that you walk through to enter. This is going to be the first time the parks has had paper maps in months, and after they were removed just a few weeks after the parks reopened. Finally, for general news is a pretty funny oopsie that happened. This week, an animal actor's trainee made a break for it. This little guy got all the way over to the horror makeup show before they got caught. Honestly, I was cheering for the dog in this scenario. But speaking of running around the parks, let's talk about people who do that all the time in my next topic. Universal Orlando Annual Pass Holder News. So with this Sunday marking the first day of November, a bunch of new stuff has become available for UOAPs. Of course, this month's button is now available, which is Harry Potter themed, by the way. They also released a UOAP Christmas-themed magnet that can also be picked up for free in the UOAP Lounge and in Toon Extra, just like the button. And finally, for the free stuff, is that this week, Uni announced and released an updated Wizarding World of Harry Potter map. It includes Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure, which current maps that were designed before the ride came out obviously do not have. Also remember that this can be picked up for free by UOAPs at the UOAP Lounge. Something else at the UOAP Lounge is a new exclusive 2020 UOAP Christmas ornament. This one, however, is not free and does have to be paid for. So that's it for UOAP news. And now let's talk about something that I'm sure lots of UOAPs are excited for in my next topic. Wait, construction this late in the video? Well, yes, actually. Even though some bigger stuff happened in this topic, not a large amount of things happened. Also this week, like many other weeks, all of my updates in this topic are on the Velocicoaster. This week, something big happened. Full track testing has started. It's being done at night, and they actually might have been doing this since 2 weeks ago, but it wasn't until this week that we had it confirmed that there is, in fact, full track testing taking place. This ride looks like it will be so much fun, by the way. Comment down below if you're just as hyped as I am. Okay, so also new news this week is some more tree placement. By the tree that was placed down solo last week, more trees have been placed, so our lonely tree now has a few friends. And finally, we have a more minor change, which is that on the wall that separates the floor that guests will stand on from the water, a small amount of rock work has been done. I believe that this will be extended across the entire wall to make the whole thing look like a natural rock structure that is separating the land from the sea. Speaking of sea, I have something that everyone loves to see in my next topic. Food and restaurants. So this week we have the very beginning of all of Universal's seasonal treats. Due to the time of year, Universal has made the return of hot butterbeer to the Wizarding World. This stuff is so good, it outweighs any coffee or hot drink in my opinion. Also this week in food is something we do not like to hear. The Central Park crepes prices have been risen once again. They were raised by $1 again, putting the prices up to $9 per crepe. Compared to the $7 price that the crepes had when the stand opened, it is definitely getting more expensive. By the way, I actually predicted this would happen in episode 20, and obviously I was right. So, the crepes have a bigger price tag on them, but you want to know what else has price tags on it? Well, we can find out in my next topic. All of this week's merchandise changes. So what beautiful items have we added that we love to spend all of our money on? Well, let's start with the slightly sad update. As the Tribute store neared its last days, it started to empty. The shelves did not receive new stock, and therefore large areas of the Tribute store just ended up being non-filled shelves. Also, the Tribute store saw some even bigger Halloween sales in its final attempt to get rid of all of its merchandise. Most of the discounts on the Halloween merch was upped to a 70% off discount. And if you looked hard enough, you could find Halloween Horror Nights masks on sale for 99 cents a piece. So I cannot stress this enough. If you want Halloween Horror Nights merch, get it now. This week, we also added a completely new line. A Hogwarts Express line is now sold, and it looks pretty cool. Speaking of lines, we also continued a line. Retro Marquee windbreaker jackets and crop tops have now been added to this line. Both of these items look pretty cool and very comfortable, or at least I think, because I obviously don't wear crop tops. Also, when on the idea of continuing things we already have a lot of, another update comes to mind. This week, a golden Hogwarts mask has come to the parks. This is actually one of Universal's only white masks, so if you want a cooler option that still looks cool, I'd suggest using this mask. While talking about Harry Potter, some changes that involve this brand actually came to the online store. 19 different kinds of non-interactive wands were added here, each assigned to a different character or general group of characters from the series. Finishing off merchandise, we can go back to the parks and look in the entrance stores of each park, being the Studio Store and Islands Trading Co. In these stores, Grinchmas merchandise has come to help everyone celebrate the holidays even more. So that's all of the news and updates I could find at Universal Orlando this week. And I just realized this is my first video to not have a small things section since I added that part to the video. And I added that like 15 episodes ago. Well, anyway, this week was a roller coaster of emotions, with Beetlejuice coming and going, Halloween Horror Nights just going, and the holidays coming in and taking its place. Also, if you live in America, happy election week. Well, anyways, that's all I've got. So, if you liked the video, please make sure to leave a like and or subscribe. And with all that said and done, this is Luna, signing off.